Sup shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SB Reviews, where today we are back reviewing some more music from Purple Look Play. Namely, we're going to be checking out an album that they have released recently titled Boom. Switch over to here. Swinging onto this webpage here, they've got their website and they've got the album art here, which is really dope. Oh no, this is the album art here. This is the album art here. Purple Look Play Boom. That's cool. And you can purchase the album for $10 if you want. That's $10 US, which I think is a pretty reasonable price considering when I was able to buy them, CDs used to be like 20 to $30 or something like that. At least $20. So yeah, it's definitely totally reasonable. Especially, I have listened to tracks from these guys before, like Rockport, Air Express. I would thoroughly recommend. But anyways, we are gonna come from a neutral perspective on this. We're gonna listen through 5 of these tracks today. I believe we're gonna be listening to Boom, Give 'Em El Harry, Engine 4, Wish for the Moon, and With a Dream. We're going to listen to each of these tracks from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. So just as well, I'll go through the list of people who are involved in this project at the end, because there's quite a few people, and I want to give them all a good amount of credit. Okay, it's going to turn off my main camera because I don't need it anymore, and because this could be a longer review. So yeah, let's start with Boom and hear what we think. Let's go. Oh, I'm liking those drums, dude. Shakers, tambourine. Whoa, boom. Bass is pretty slick.
Boom. Her babies keep coming, so we've got to get them into the groove. When there's division, she'll adjust with more precision, as we know there's always something to prove. Boom. She's got the big shooters from the dollars that have come with success.
Oh, okay.
She presses steel that the enemies will feel when her troops arrive to clean up a mess.
I'm wondering if I can... No, I can't. I was hoping I could like... Oh no, I can just go down here. Sorry, did I break it? No. So this is where... Oh, okay, cool. Oh, I'm starting from the start. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out the website. We'll just go from here. Cool. Yeah, what is that sample there? Like a horn or something like that, eh? Is this talking about like the baby boom that happened in like the 50s and 60s? Actually, it says like Boom is an album based on American history, that time being the 1950s following World War II. The title is based on an economic and industrial boom in the 50s, and Purple Look Play tries to portray that time in the music. There is a song, President Harry Truman, a 57 Chevrolet, The Jesters, late 52 Street Gang, the songs that bring those influences to what is taking place present day in America. Oh, okay, cool. America is certainly not perfect, but it's still a great country. That's what Boom is about. I get it now. Guitar? Octave bass? Oh damn, man. Organ! Sick. Kind of stereo painting, that's interesting. Oh, that's a really kind of sassy guitar tone we got there, isn't it? Oh, it sizzles, dude. Very much that kind of era. Very fuzzy. It's nice having the changes in energy levels within this track. As the golden wheat, I adore that. That's a beautiful lyric. I just had to pause and appreciate that. Cool, so this is about the growth and technology and sort of things developing and all that kind of stuff and making the most of that growth. Makes sense for the opening of this. Are we gonna have like... Is this an interlude? Nice triplet kind of vibe there. I love it. It slaps, man. That horn there is just so... Yeah. Yeah, so is this kind of through composed, more or less?
She cures diseases, mixing remedies with Jesus, drinking Java as her hot lava flows and flows.
The production on this is something to behold. I love how those horns are coming through. It's nice and loud as well. Cool hook. It's good to have that kind of distorted guitar sometimes thing, I reckon. Some very kind of oh, snap. Nice work letting there be a little bit of headroom to let those kind of cymbals kind of sort of like in themselves in their own sort of pace without having to sort of cut them earlier or something like that. It's you get the impression that they've taken their sort of studio side of things very, very seriously, but I think it's worth, you know, also suggesting that the performance itself is quite strong. Like, I don't think there was a weak note within that. The drum fills were fairly poignant. They had the engineering they needed to keep everything going. The horns were... There was a special sort of coloration to the brass section, which I think worked well when the guitar was a little more laid back. And just for that boom sound, I do understand why it's there, and I think it's very effective. Boom itself was a cool song, and I understood it well, and I think it works well as an intro. So we'll give him Howl Harry, which is, I can imagine that would maybe sort of talk to Harry Truman. It's interesting to hear more about this. I don't know a lot about this time in America's history. I don't know what New Zealand was doing at that point in time, but yeah. Okay. Very fresh sounding.
A product of working class. Reading notes while plowing cornrows. Serve your country, lobbying brass.
Like, what I will say is sometimes artists send me lyric sheets, and I do appreciate them in every situation. But I think the aim of a well-written song is that, and like a well-mixed song, is that you don't necessarily need them. Not only because you can hear the vocals nice and clearly, but also because the way it's performed and sort of spaced and sort of staged and sequenced is in a way that makes it easy to listen to and understand what's going on. This is kind of what's happening here, you know? Oh, that high hook. The hi-hat. Call and response with the guitar as well. Nice sustain to those guitars on the left. You get the feeling that this is sort of like a live performance, which is interesting because my understanding is that Purple Look Play have worked from musicians from like not just in the States but also around the place as well. Like, we're going to go into the people later on, but this has been a really this has been a huge team effort, and it's done so in a way that it sounds like everyone's in the same room, and I think that's something that's really incredible, you know? There's a nice little extra bit of intensity here. Oh, that fell. I'd love to see... Oh, that was stunning. Nice double pan guitar take. Cool, having this sort of lead melody here to kind of shake things up from having the vocal lead before.
You've got strength to beat temptation.
Because like the thing is, like, I know there's like a rush to try and, for a lot of artists, the aim is to get something between 2 and 4 minutes. But you know, when you've got a stronger song, long song like this, you do have that ability to kind of add some sort of melodies in or change things up a little bit, give it a bit of spice, have a bit of space. You know, sometimes even in like a 3-minute track, it's nice to have a bit of a break. Just especially if it's really quite intense music. You know, Purple Look Play understand as well. Like this isn't grindcore or anything, but like at the same time, you take breaks like here.
Keep the focus on our nation.
I'm liking the sort of sizzle on the vocal performance there as well. Like there is, it's beautifully recorded. I adore the way that's performed as well. Like you can tell that the singer is very comfortable in their own shoes and in front of a microphone, and knows how to sort of write harmonies and sort of melodies and create sort of harmonic concepts without sort of either making it look like it's an ego project or, you know, or without alienating anyone else. It remains connected.
Make the best of partnerships.
Dun, dun, bum, 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 bum.
But you won't please everyone.
And that's okay, you don't have to, man.
Give 'em hell, don't give in. Harry, you'll succeed when we win. Harry.
Because it's all I did. I kind of am apologetic for interrupting there, but I wanted to also comment on how like when one instrument is sort of letting the note hold, the other instrument is kind of filling in, like how you had dun 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 dun, and you know the drums are fairly laid back, right? And then held chord, fill. You know, like just those kind of changes. There's give and take.
You've got allies inside NATO.
And Harry Truman sounds like a dope president.
Staying fit to shake the death blows. Dropping bombs to save mankind.
Oh,
But you won't please everyone.
I'm assuming that there were people that were not happy with what Truman did, but that's not for me to comment on.
You'll succeed when we win.
It's very it's an interesting snare drum sound I've got. Very short attack on it, very short sustain. Like a very short kind of decay on it. But it's well done. I think that you need that kind of very punchy kind of snare sound to really cut through a mix like this. That's great. 2 for 2, man. Really digging it. We've got Engine 4 next. Bit of a longer one, but that's fine. Hey, cowbell! Police sirens? Where are we going with this? Oh, DI'd acoustic?
Why did you forget to put out your last cigarette? Please don't make excuses now. Stop sipping from the flask. You cannot multitask. You've got a fire.
Oh, alright.
Engine 4 is coming. I am sure there is help on the way. She's
I'm liking these keys coming in. I'm liking how the guitar, bass, and drum tone has remained consistent throughout this record.
speeding, humming. You can bet that she'll save the day.
With those kind of those root notes being on the chord note accents. Ooh, that walky kind of bass
Let us see the show.
with the swing kind of ride cymbals. Ooh, ghost notes.
Mrs. Lindsay, why'd you mow the lawn and leave your gas burners on? Don't you blame it on the kids.
This is about people making mistakes.
Check your stove. Your house was left alone. You've got a fire.
Got another fire, man. People are just setting stuff on fire without even meaning to.
Since there is help on the way.
Oh, the happy perk, a little Hammond there.
Can bet that she'll save the day. Go, go, go.
Are there two keys in there? There's like the organ and then there's just like the keyboard, right?
Is it under control?
I like going with kind of more kind of punchy, almost staccato like chorus. It's kind of post-chorus, I suppose. Oh, the brass comes back in. The brass is very forward in the mix. Kind of like Daisical, isn't it? Kind of an innocence to it, I suppose. The emergency services having to help people when they forget to turn their stoves off, man. Doesn't sound like a fun time, to be real.
Dr. Seymour.
Oh, we got number 3.
Burn the trash. Then lose sight of hot blowing ash. Neighbors live right next to you.
Why did you do that?
A fence is getting charred.
It just sounds like the music is being incredibly patient with the person who's doing really stupid stuff.
Screams come from the yard. You've got a fire.
Got a fire, man.
Engine 4 is coming. I can sense there is help on the way.
I can understand how this would connect to modern day. People do all sorts of crazy stuff nowadays, man.
Speak with sirens. You can trust that she'll save the day. Oh, oh, oh.
I'm coming back to this. I like how we're revolving around these 2 or 3 sort of main sections.
Oh, she's something else. Engine 4 is coming. Engine 4 is coming.
It does sound like it, to be fair, man.
4 is coming.
Oh, lower vocals?
Engine 4 is coming.
I think it's one of these situations where having that foley of like the police sirens is incredibly effective because it sort of says, hey, you know, we're more than just a band who can play well. We also understand that you've really got to sell the image you want to sort of portray. You've got to get people sucked into your world as musicians, right? That was a really strong track. I have a sort of a warm acceptance of each of these tracks individually. I understand the concept as a whole, but I want to listen to how it finishes before I come up with like a final conclusion, which is lucky that we're doing the last 2 tracks. So we got Engine 4 is fantastic. I like this. There was a weirdness about it. Like you could kind of tell that we were making fun of the silliness of people and the sort of extremities of their misadventures, but at the same time, it was delivered in a way which was just very kind of like, why do you do that? And the music reflected that tonality very well. Wish for the Moon. Oh, Gamora, that stereo painting coming in. I dig it. I want to hear more of this, please.
Wish for the moon and see what you get. You soon will regret not having much.
I love this guy's vocal style. Like it's that I don't know how to describe what he's doing there, but there's a warmth to it. There's like a wanting to make it sound kind of it's like a call out. It's like trying to reach out. I think that's the kind of impression I get of this person from the way they sing.
Blast off to Mars and find what is there.
Hell yeah, man. Let's go to Mars. I'm digging it.
You will stare back at the earth.
Getting a real 80s kind of vibe from this vocal style.
Performance is key to what you'll achieve.
Hey, those vocal harmonies are just on point. Beautiful. Chef's kiss.
Stars and pick one to name.
Imagine if you could, though, right?
I bet that it's claimed by someone else. Wish for the moon. Performance is key to what you'll achieve. Wish for the moon.
Subtle changes with the music. Got an A and B section here.
All that you do.
Oh, those fills, dude. The percussion is, I love it. Oh, dude. It's sick, man. That guitar solo is so full of life, man. It's on fire. Got that stank kind of tone to it. Like, yeah, man, I'm reaching for that moon. I'm reaching for the stars. We got the energy to get there.
Pray to the sun and welcome the light. Make sure to keep sight of who you are. Wish for the moon. Performance is key to what you'll achieve. Wish for the moon. Make sure to be true. It's all up to you.
Wish.
For the moon. It's
I'm sorry to end it there. I just want to say that it ends. It's such a chilled out kind of introspective kind of track. It's saying, I think it's kind of metaphorical. Like you know, you obviously have for people all over the world, the aim is to go and explore the galaxy, right? And especially if we're talking about post 1950s, it was 1969, wasn't it, that we got to the moon? You know, Buzz Aldrin and stuff. But I think it also sort of encompasses this kind of ideology of you wanted to go further and further and further and further and get better and better and better, you know, and I love that. It's so, there's a romanticism about it. I think this song has a special place in my heart because of it. I love the sense of hope and optimism I get from it.
get
I'm sorry that I started it there. Can we go back a little bit more?
what you get. It's all up to you.
There we go, cool.
Wish for the moon. It's what you get.
Yep, called it. In context, I was absolutely right. Of course, I could have been focusing my attention on something within the track and missed when they said that, and I was just kind of been like, my subconscious is like, oh yeah, yeah, that's exactly what they wanted, you know. But look, I adore it. I think that this sums up, you know, boom, give 'em hell, Harry. You know, and what I remember of like Rock Boy, Eric Express, and Engine 4, Wish for the Moon. It sums up a lot of what I understand about modern American culture and the growth in the 1950s and how they parallel between them. And I absolutely adore it. When things get better and people are able to travel again, I would like to go to the States just to understand that part of the world better, because New Zealand is very small. So if anything, my interest in going over to the United States has grown after listening to this record, which I have a lot of love for. With a Dream, the final track. Is there a slight dissonance to this?
Shaken by gunshots, you think
Oh, we're resolving to a minor.
blood spills is drying.
Is that a second? I think it is a second, isn't it? Oh.
Soldier boy, we thank God you're home. Saving our lives before your own.
Is there a ping pong delay on the drums?
Time has come. Don't get caught in which day is. Set your sights
There is a weird sort of vibe to this track that I haven't had so far within this album. It's like it's trying to reach for it, but I quite can't get there. And I'm not saying that it's a bad song or anything. I dig it. I'm, it's just not what I expected from this. It's like it's kind of it's not hitting where I've come to expect it in terms of the notes. You're kind of reaching for it, and then it kind of takes it away a little bit. It's like it's trying to come to a conclusion, but it keeps getting the things get moved before you can grab them. That's what I'm getting from this track. There's no resolution within this, is there? There's a sense of dismemberment.
Kids walk to school as the fear drips from your spouse.
Cool. I understand it now.
Mother, wow, you have come so far. Working so hard to care for us.
This is nice. I adore this.
Time has come. Don't get caught in which day is. Set your sights by aiming high.
I think this is sort of meant to be sort of like singing to someone who is in the middle of this sort of internal crisis to continue to move forward. And, you know, after wishing for the moon, no, seriously, if you're going, you keep doing it. You keep doing it, you know? Don't give up.
Start right now with a dream.
I don't know why, but I'm imagining like a sunrise, like the sun is coming up, and at the end of this, I can imagine it will resolve itself in a major fashion, but it might not. Very perky sort of chords on the piano.
High off the launch pad, it hurts to leave your son. Millions are watching with hopes the race is won. Spacesuit man, we believe in you. Taking the risk to lead the way. Your time has come. Don't get caught in which day.
Yeah, okay, I'm kind of starting to get used to this chorus now. Alright.
Get excited for the future. Start right now.
I like that it's different. And those kind of strings kind of help to give it context after he stops singing, or after he holds a note. Oh. I get that With a Dream is sort of talking about the trepidation that people feel on an everyday basis and kind of struggling with that, but you know, to just continue to look up and not let it get you down. You know, that the future isn't certain, but you know, if you continue to try and take one step at a time, that things will improve. Because that is the kind of world we live in at the moment, isn't it? That you can't just let it all, you can't absorb it all at once. There's just too much of it, so you have to just kind of get your way through. That's what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Good. I was looking for something to kind of add a little bit of peace at the end. To kind of signal that is the final message there. What do I want to say about Boom? I think that it's definitely, I think that it's a really clever album. I firmly believe that this is a very articulate and mature representation of Purple Look Play's sort of view on what the 1950s were and the important parts about it and the pros and cons of it. And kind of, I think that it has been clearly communicated in a way that is both witty but also heartfelt, how they kind of align with one another. It's really fascinating to hear more about how, the states developed during the post 50s and Truman and everything like that. I think it's really cool that we tried to combine those different concepts and align them to the current state of affairs, because I think that also, for me, so as a reviewer, I will say it sometimes when I am asked to listen to something that's about something that happened a while ago, I don't necessarily connect as well with it because I don't live then. But if you can sort of compare it to what it is now, I'll understand it better because I can see the parallels. And I think for a lot of people listening to this, that the concepts aren't delivered in a way that's either patronizing or like too sort of avant-garde. There's clever ways of sort of communicating. I think I sort of did communicate that some of these lyrics within this were beautiful. I specifically remember in Boom, I called out one of the lines as being gorgeous. I think that given how Harry was one of my favorites, Engine 4 was a lot of fun telling those stories about those people doing stupid things like setting trash on fire and not considering others. And Wish for the Moon and With the Dream. With the Dream, I was probably a little bit more kind of flat with, in the sense that I wasn't really sure about what to make of With the Dream at first. Wish musically, I mean. It took me a while to understand that With a Dream was meant to be sort of communicating about that there is a struggle and things aren't all just roses and candy canes, that real life isn't just major chords. It's that kind of struggle to get up in the morning sometimes, but that you have to continue to work and towards the next boom, or to continue just to get the most out of life. I think that undoubtedly, undoubtedly the performances by everyone involved in this album were incredible. I'm going to go through the list of people now. I'll just be a sec. So I actually got sent a list of people involved in this recording, so I'm going to go through them. We've got Tim Ketchley, who was a sound engineer, mix engineer, video support. Thomas Niedermeyer, vocals, backup vocals and tracking. Taylor Burke, drums, just phenomenal drums. Everything else was dope, but those fills, man. Sharif Robinson, vocals, digital audio workstation and software support. Kyle Tupper, vocals, backup vocals and drums. Jay vocals. We had Jay Banwell, vocals, backup vocals, guitar, acoustic guitar, bassist, keyboards, piano, organized. Wow, Jay just does everything, doesn't he? What a phenomenal human being. I mean that genuinely. That's a lot. James Jenkins, vocals and backup vocals. Jake Norgal, drums. Daryl Myers, vocals. Burren Netton, drums. Tom Feek, vocals, backup vocals, and tambourine. That's excellent. I think that it's worth sort of, first of all, thanking everyone involved in this for their work in this, because everyone did exceptionally. I can't really fault it. I wasn't entirely convinced with like the ping pong delay on the drums and With the Dream, but if that was like a stylistic thing, that's totally fine. If it was meant to sort of add to the sense of sort of disillusionment, that kind of sort of distortion to it, then that's totally sweet. But yeah, I can't really fault the tracks I listened to today. I've got a lot of love for the attitude of it, and I think that the vocals that I haven't really spoken much about tell the story in a way. And it sounds like the singer is, along with the other backing vocalists, just sound like they care so much about what they've created and what they're talking about. There is sort of like space within this recording. There's headroom within the mixing and mastering. The stereo padding is interesting, especially with those organs. I got a lot of love for it. There was such a warmth to the main vocals, and the technique as well was shockingly good. Especially for these kind of rockish kind of. There are a wide range of different genres sort of showcased in here, but the vocals were the singer was so flexible in the delivery of that and the emotional content, and that it was just. It's pretty dope. I don't sort of want to seem like I'm sort of overdoing it though with the praise. It's not like I have a bias towards these guys because I just can't as a music reviewer. However, I will say that I literally, You know, if the production's pretty spot on, if the songwriting is interesting, if you can hear the vocals clearly and the lyrics and you can tell what the story is, if you can't fault the performances of the instruments, and if you can't really fault, I mean, like aside from parts of With the Dream that I took a moment to get the hang of, no, I don't give ratings in these anyways, but I thoroughly recommend anybody, if you're like, you know, should I spend $10 on this album? Hell yeah. You get a lot of replay value out of this, especially if you're interested in learning more about what this album is about, which again is about the time being the 1950s following World War II, when things like really boomed, you know, and a lot of development occurred and things changed. And if you want to know how it connects to now. But thank you for watching this review of Purple Look Plays Boom. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please do go check out their website and various social medias. And stay cool, stay safe. Please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Thank you for your time. Spider hands out.